The following podcast may contain adult language and conversations revolving around situations not suitable for immature audiences. Spoilers and general political incorrectness can often be expected, so listener discretion is advised.
They must be destroyed on sight!
All right, we're back, and we're doing an intermission episode this time out. We're recording on the 27th of August, but you'll probably hear this sometime in October. Who knows when? This will be a bonus episode. This was requested by Kit Power on the Facebook page, so they must be destroyed on site on Facebook, by the way. Join the group. Request movies, and we'll probably do them.
Please request movies for us to butcher to death.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I'm joined by my co-host, Paul. How you doing, sir?
Hi. I'm doing okay. Doing all right. Got a beer for once. Kick some ass and take some names.
Nice. And I'm drinking some Knob Creek Single Barrel Reserve, 120 proof. So, yeah,
Woo!
It's going down pretty good. The first sip's hot, and then after that, it just settles down.
I think I just had something similar to not the Knob Creek, but it was the Maker's Mark. Had a special, like Maker's Mark 46 or something like that. It has a special single barrel variety of it, and it is potent but delicious.
Right on.
Same kind of deal. It's like, whoa, okay, calm down. You start to hit it like you're like, I've had Maker's Mark before, and then I just go, okay, I gotta sit. Hold on, just wait. Okay, didn't expect that, but then after that, you get used to it, and it's a beautiful thing.
Nice. Yeah, I like Maker's Mark. So we got two films to talk about here. We're going to be talking about Demons from 1985 and Demons 2 from 1986. This isn't going to be the usual super in-depth reviews we do. This is just a intermission episode, so we're not going to be going super, super long like we usually do. Daniel's not in this one, so we're definitely not going to stretch it out to like 8 hours like we usually would if we were talking about a franchise or something like that.
We have no meaningful conversations in this one, guaranteed. No. So you just leave your brain at the door.
There'll be no redeeming value in this one.
Your brain on the door and your panties on the floor. Let's make this happen.
Drop your linen and stop your grinning.
Exactly.
Whatever the fuck that phrase was. I've already had too much bourbon.
Never such thing. No such thing.
So both these films are directed by Lamberto Bava, who you may know as the son of Mario Bava. He got to start working under his dad, and like a lot of Italian directors, just sort of rose to the ranks. Like he started as a personal assistant, then became assistant director to his father in 1965 for Planet of the Vampires. His association with Dario Argento began with Inferno in 1980, and then he finally got to direct his own film, Macabre,
which is a great film.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Definitely twisted, beautiful necrophiliac kind of a feel to the whole thing. It's like psychotic killers, and it's a good time. It's a little fun running, and the woman is actually the main killer in the film, which is great. A lot of scarred childhood, mental trauma, things like that. It's a good film. I have it on another one with A Blade in the Dark, I believe, is the other film that comes with that film.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first two Demons films, and we'll get into the sequels eventually here, but these were co-written with Dario Argento, Dardano Saccotti, and Franco Ferrini, who were all sort of collaborators with Argento at some point or another. So it was essentially Argento producing and writing this, and some people even hint that he kind of ghost-directed some of this, but I don't know if I necessarily buy that. But his influence is heavy on this one. Essentially, this first one is all these people get this mysterious ticket to this show in this renovated theater, and they're watching this movie about these kids digging up the mask of Nostradamus, and it turns out to be a demon mask that if you put it on, it scratches you and infects you and turns you into a demon. And lo and behold, that same very mask is actually in the theater, and a hooker puts the mask on to play around and scratches herself, and before you know it, she's in the bathroom with a bad case of acne.
Yeah.
That
was a geyser, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It just harkened me back to my younger days.
Did you ever see Slumber Party Massacre Part 1? I think it is.
Where she popped she was popping the zits in the mirror.
Yeah, it has a similar effect to that, right?
Yeah. Or Animal House. What am I? A zit.
Get it?
Same thing. Get it? Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny though, the pretense of the movie, because in the movie it's not like people are screwing with the masks the whole time. It just happens that one girl accidentally, finally, out of ignorance, picked it up. So almost didn't happen. This big master plan of demon evilness almost never happened. If just some dumb bitch didn't pick up the mask. So
yeah, there's no if you're going into these films, full disclosure, if you've never seen them before, there's no logic at all in these films. For an Italian horror film, even there's like very little logic or reason behind it. Like it's just they're much more interested in just giving you cool scenes, cool makeup effects, cool ideas. I mean, the whole idea of like a film within a film, and then there's a connection between the mask in the film and the mask in the real world.
I like that.
And also, it's kind of cool that like one of the actors in a film plays the guy with the metal mask on his face, like half a mask on his face. So he's like the connection between that film and the real world, sort of. He's like the kind of in between kind of demon guy, and actually that's played by Michelle. Soavi, the guy who Cemetery Man.
Who did the Church and Cemetery Man.
Yeah, and he also did The Devil's Daughter as well, which is also credited as a Demons sequel at some point, and Stage Fright. He did Stage Fright as well.
Stage Fright, yeah. He's a great director. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like a culmination of all these great people with all these lineages of excellent horror films, and it's kind of interesting. It's like I don't know. Sometimes, if you ever see in like the music when these super bands happen, where the fastest players in the world get together and then they do this on a jazz rock fusion. I'm like, what the fuck, man? You could be doing something amazing, and you do this boring jazz rock fusion to show how artistic you are. I'm like, you could be doing 3,000 beats metal, really kicking ass. These guys get all together and they don't make an epic masterpiece. They make demons.
Yeah,
It's like, damn it, come on.
Yeah, it's like the We Are the World of fucking. Of fucking horror movies in a certain way. Like just remember like all these like great pop acts and rock acts and stuff from the 80s got together for We Are the World, and what a fucking wet fart.
We Are the Future, man.
Yeah. What a wet fart that was. But this is slightly better. I mean, it's got some named people in it too. I mean, it's got Urbano Barbernini, I guess is how it's pronounced, and he's probably well known for Gore, if you ever seen Gore. Yeah. It's got Dario Argento's older daughter, Fiora Argento, who was in Phenomena as well. Also known as Creepers here in the
Creepers,
US.
Yeah. All I know is Donald Pleasant kicking ass. Yeah. There you go.
And I think the coolest one is Nicoletta Elmi, who is the redheaded usherette Ingrid.
Well, that's the one that as soon as I kind of understood the film, I'm like, wait a second, there's a connection here. There's a Lee connection in this film. It's a hot redhead in this film. This will be a good time.
Yeah, she plays the crazy little girl in Deep Red. And she also played one of the crazy kids in Bay of Blood at the end who killed her.
Because hey, mommy, daddy. Yeah, that's right.
And she was in a couple other things too. Like she was kind of like a big Italian horror child actress for a while.
Jeez.
Yeah.
She's Shirley Temple of the Italian horrors. There you go.
So this turns like into kind of a zombie movie in a way. Like it's an infection movie. Like the disease of the demons, it's like spread through, like they cut you or they bleed in your mouth and then you turn into a demon, right? And then it becomes like a Night of the Living Dead kind of thing almost, where they're trapped in the theater and they've got to try to like blockade themselves away from the demons. Mostly this is all just setups for special effects. Like the special effects in this are top notch. Like they still look good today, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a couple definitely scenes, even that transcend both films, that I always just appreciated about these films. I think the one social big thing that everyone, like Daniel would already have been there to kind of bring this out and talk about it. But the one thing I have to say about this film that nobody seems to ever want to say is, I'm Rick James, bitch. That's the one thing that now that I re-see the film, I'm like, why is Rick James killing people in the film the whole time? That's all. I just remember I could just picture Rick James coked the fuck out just doing this in the theater.
If you Google up pictures of this, you'll probably instantly get, like, first off, like, the picture of the first demon in this that springs up, and of course it's the hooker, and she's got the braided hair or whatever with the beads and shit, and she looks just like Rick James, except for with big fucking fangs, you know.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the one thing is that I completely agree with you. It was basically a setup for gore. And Argento, as we know, dealing with Romero, he was always, okay, we need to put the gore in. We need to put the horror in. We don't need the satire. We don't need this. We don't need the story plots. We don't need the build-ups. We just need the gore. That's the audience that he was shooting for a lot of times. And I think he made Bava, if he was ghost directing it, definitely pushing Bava into that territory. Yeah, a little bit, you know, which isn't a bad thing, because when they do it, to me, I think they always seem to do it correctly. Lighting was always an issue. Sometimes some of the gore effects were hindered by the fact that, in at least the copies that I've always seen, the lighting was always a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, it is dark. I've never seen any of the sort of DVD or Blu-ray releases, so I don't know if they corrected that or not. I imagine they have, but but if you're just looking at, like, rips on the internet and stuff, usually you're going to get, like, a old digital rip or an old VHS rip or something like that, and so it's going to look dark. And all this interior stuff is, like, done in, like, Italian studio interiors, and I think also in the interior of an actual theater at one point. The exterior stuff is this building in Germany, and the movie is actually set in Germany as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, right, the next studio over was Scat Porn Chaos. You just know. You know, Scheiße, you know. Yeah. It was actually surprising going back to this and realizing Argento had a hand in it, because I completely went Bava, and I never even kind of, like, it never dawned on me that Argento has hand in this. But when I see it again, like, for instance, when Rosemary's Friend's running away from Rosemary for the first time, and then she starts going behind the curtains, and you start seeing all these crimson sheets of color, and just her just waving through this menagerie and maze of these red sheets and things like that. I'm like, okay, no, I get to see a little bit different angles, because it was, even just in the beginning, the shots of her just walking through the subway, there's like 17 shots of her walking up one flight of stairs. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the beginning. A lot of it is only just to fake the audience out, I think. It's not even really to do too much. It just is kind of interesting way that I think a lot of people wouldn't shoot something. I don't think a lot of people would shoot that.
You kind of see his the sort of pacing that Lamberto Bava took from his dad, like, just studying under him for so many years, like for almost 20 years he was working with him. Right. You definitely get, like, that big gore influence. Like, any idea, like, any semblance of story or narrative is pretty much chopped down to the bare minimum. The characters are barely recognizable.
Hey, one's black. I can always pick him out. And the loud black one, got it.
And he's the most dynamic character in the whole film anyway.
Absolutely. And the most unlucky, because apparently he has a twin that looks just like him that later has to do the same fucking thing. I mean, it's just a hell of a thing. I mean, that's why Black Lives do matter. Yeah. I'm telling you, you know, because they helped kill demons. We got down to it.
Yeah, and this is Bobby Rhodes we're talking about, who plays Tony the Pit in this one, who I would probably nominate for one of the greatest characters in Italian
At least
horror.
He's not a stereotyped part, so that's kind of cool. At least, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he's a pimp with a heart of gold. Like, he treats his bitches with some respect and takes them out to the theater every once in a while. Lets them go to the bathroom unattended. You know.
That's it. Hey, it was the '80s.
Yeah, very progressive for a pimp at that point. Progressive. And he tries to take charge. Like, he's sort of got that kind of hero in him a little bit, where he's like, "We got to fight these demons. We got to escape." And
get up here, you son of a bitch!
And you always know what he's thinking, because every time he thinks of a new plan, he yells at everybody, "We got to run for this door!"
He wears his mouth on his sleeve.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely, yeah. But you know, he is the most fun and dynamic character of the bus, because as you just said, except for certain facial features, everybody else gets lost in the mix.
Yep.
this film is based, as we talked about a lot, more on the idea of let's make some crazy ass kills and let's see what we can do with some cheesy effects. Yeah. And what they did it great. Two of my favorites overall have to be the scalping. Mm-hmm. I thought that was done extremely well.
Yeah.
And then just the way they shot it when the Pimpy Wimpy went on the rope with the guy and they just all hung there and stuff as he was like kind of killing him and stuff. That was just great. And basically, it was really funny though, because right before that really interesting shot that I thought is great, and I was like, how did you guys do that? That was great. Tony the Pimp gets hurt, and the woman apparently bites something the size of basically the inside of a watermelon out of his thigh. Which I was like, there's not even that much meat there to begin with. That fucking shot was the cheesiest amount of meat getting taken out of somebody's leg I've ever seen. But I kind of let that go. But after that, like I said, that was, right after that, it was the hanging kind of killing scene that they were doing. And that was pretty great. The only one I could say before that happened, that scene, is when the kind of bitter, angry husband that told everybody to shut the fuck up in the movie theater, he got killed the second time and was just draining all of his bodily fluids all over that one young girl.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just awesome. I was like, they're just going to let the scene go for another 20 minutes because they can. I love that.
And the best thing is when she escapes from that and gets back with her boyfriend to try to escape. She doesn't really got all that much spilled on her. Like, she got soaked with blood.
No, she was absolutely drenched with everything that came out of that guy. It was hilarious. And then he's like, "Oh, are you bleeding?" No, she has no blood on her whatsoever. Yeah. Continuity. Don't we love it, people?
Yeah. I think my favorite kill actually is still the just because it's kind of novel. Like, I've never quite seen something like that before. But where the daughter of the blind guy runs off and makes out with that dude behind the curtain. And the demon comes down with a rope and basically strangles them both while they're kissing. Yeah,
while they're kissing, At first, when I watched the film, I automatically assumed it was like blind dude's wife, and they were fucking around. And then it came out, it was like this daughter. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't expect that, but okay. And then you finally got you really didn't get it. You finally got some kind of half-ass explanation about what the fuck is going on and why. Yeah, it was the studio. It's cursed. I'm like, okay, why is it cursed? Who cursed? Like, I don't get it. Like, you still don't really get an explanation, so you still end up with that kind of Fulci film experience.
Yeah,
you go, what the fuck did I just watch, and why did I just watch it? I mean, it was pretty interesting. The only other kill that I could say was actually pretty interesting. They took the bar and rammed the final demon's face into the.
He got it. Got the rebar.
The rebar, into the brain, and I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, you're kind of thinking like, okay, they're meeting him finally up on the roof there, and he's going to give the explanation of what the fuck's going on. Nope, he's just trying to kick that guy down to the floor, and
he's just trying to kill some more people and grunt. I'm like, okay, well, there you go. That's basically all you get in a Schwarzenegger movie and stuff too. So you know what I mean, like, just trying to kill people and grunt. So we're good. So, I mean, I understand. But no, I mean, it's a fun film. It's definitely a film that you should watch. You're not going to get a lot out of it, though. Like, you have to. What it is exactly what it is. You're not going to get anything more. If you see the word Dario Argento and Bava, you're not going to get just that caliber that you expect from these people.
Yeah, it seems like they're capitalizing on like how horror was going at that point, where everything was just kind of becoming over the top gore and less story driven.
The one thing that I can say, and I could be completely wrong, I think they kind of made a little money off the Evil Dead thing too. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at it, like by the end of it, the guy is like he's all ripped up and this and that. I'm like, I'm just waiting for him to like cut his fucking arm off and put a fucking chainsaw on it. I mean, of course, one memorable moment for me, and it already happened in Evil Dead, is when the demon comes out of the girl.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But this is something that already happened in Evil Dead, so you kind of see where they got that from.
Yeah.
At least that's where I can kind of picture, because this is 4 years later.
I think it probably is, because the demons do kind of look a lot like the Evil Dead demons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always appreciate, no matter how cheesy it looks, I love the shots where the teeth come out.
Oh, that looks great. I love that.
I always love it. I've always appreciated those. That is something that I will always give those film credit for. I always like the demon change, but when you see the demon teeth protruding and pushing out the human teeth, I love that.
Yeah. So what do you think of the soundtrack of this one? This one.
Well, that's one thing I was going to mention.
Yeah, this has a bunch of like '80s rock bands. Like it's got Rick Springfield, Motley
Crue. You got
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol, but you have Claudio Simonetti.
Yeah, from Goblin. At this point, Goblin was pretty much split up. So,
but you didn't get the normal thing. Accept is in this too. You get Accept in this one.
Saxon's in it too.
Saxon's in this. And I had some Saxon stuff growing up. I know that. I like Saxon. But when you see the name Argento, people already have this like, okay, it's going to have this, it's going to have that, it's going to have this. Guess what? It doesn't have any of that.
Yeah, because at this point, Claudio Simonetti was not even really doing his regular kind of Goblin stuff. Like he had moved on to like drum machines and stuff like that. Like he was,
And well, the one thing that I can say that this film has that makes it worth watching, you get to watch someone do coke off some tits.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And those punk rockers were like, they were just like there to fill time, basically. It's like, we don't have a full movie, guys. We got to write a new scene here. So you have this whole separate storyline of these punks all coked up in their car.
I do like the fact that they were doing coke out of a Coke can.
Yeah, that was something. That was kind of funny.
That was a nice little satire. You see, Italians can be funny at times. Yeah. Not really that much, but they can be. But the only thing is, I noticed, and I was rewatching that scene, and I'm like, this is all voiceover shit. Did they actually have anything written, or they're actually just kind of fucking around now? Because I think half the time they were fucking around.
I'm pretty sure they were.
But then later, they had a secondary scene with them, and they were actually, you can actually see them speaking. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, so they actually planned this scene out. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But you could definitely tell there was a little bit of filler going on.
Yeah, they're just an excuse to. We got to open up. We got to get the demons to escape the theater somehow. So
yeah. But I mean, the standard thing, the theater won't let them escape. There's demons there, the whole deal, that kind of thing. I mean, if you want base logic, it's got everything you need. If you want a lot of explanation, it has a lot to be desired. Overall, it's a pretty fun film. The only thing that actually surprised me and kind of saddened me was the end of the film.
Yeah.
The very end of the film is like, why did you film it like that? Why did you do that? I do appreciate, there's something on her neck. I know there's something's happening. And then boom, jump scare. Yeah. And that's when the credits should have rolled. Yeah. And they ended up, they shot her. She fell out. You could see her laying on the thing, and they drove away and the credits rolled. I'm like, why did you end the film? Like,
I guess they were looking for a sad horror note instead of a shocking horror note. But with a film like this, though, the ending they went for has kind of character depth. You're supposed to maybe feel sad and bad about the hero. By
the time the hero and the heroine got to the end of the film, which this random Jeep kind of just saved the day, and there's demons other places too now, and I got more confused as the film went on because scenes and characters started meshing instead of being individuals. And like you were saying, by the time that part came, who are we actually rooting for again? I can't really tell you.
Honestly, the whole way the movie went is like, if they had established these characters better and you actually gave a fuck about them, then that ending kind of works. But here they should have went for jump scare ending where she turns into a demon, credits roll, or just them coming out on the top of the roof, finally killing the masked guy, and then they look out in the city, and all of a sudden they're surrounded by chaos. There's just demons everywhere. Chaos. It's like, well, fuck, we escaped the theater, but we didn't escape. Yeah,
right. The one character setup that I did, obviously you did get a chance to really get yourself into is the two friends. The one gets hurt, and you have to kill him, but then at the same time, I go, you had the chance to have a great decapitation scene, and you blew it. And the lighting was good, like everything was good in the scene. I'm like, you could have just chopped that son of a bitch's head right the fuck off, and shit could have sprayed everywhere. It could have been 7 different colors from Sunday. It would have been a great time, and all you get is a random splat on the floor. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Come
I know.
On.
It almost feels like, our budget's gone. We can't do it.
They were filming Killer Croc in the other room, and we just didn't have the time.
Yeah. Budget for this one was 1.8 million, whatever in Spanish, whatever the fuck that lira, and their box office was 56 million. So I mean, they did really well with this. I mean, they immediately put a sequel into production, and the sequel actually premiered in the U.S. before this movie did. This movie premiered later in '86 after the sequels started. So.
Well, I mean, the one classic scene for me was always the demons coming up the alleyway. And you could see their eyes glowing and stuff. I'm like, I love it. I always love that. It might be the cheesiest, corniest thing in the world for me, but I don't even know, like, in the 80s, like, how'd you guys make their eyes glow? I love that. Yeah, it looks good. Now they have all kinds of different shit that you can use to make your eyes glow and stuff like that anybody can get. But, like, back in the day, to me, that was a really cool effect.
Yeah, I don't know what they did. They must have had just, like, maybe, because it was shot in the dark, so they must have had, like, maybe, like, just masks on with lights over the eyes or something like that.
Masks with lights on, or they might have used the idea of black lights and put some kind of white, those white, like in Evil Dead, for another ripoff. Right. In the Evil Dead, they put those other different kind of contacts in.
Yeah.
And if the black light would have hit that, they would have glowed. So maybe that's what they did. But I always loved it.
It looks good. It's one of the iconic shots, too. Like, whenever you Google this, chances are most of the pictures you're going to get are of the Rick James demon and of them coming up the hallway. Those are kind of the two classics.
They did play for one little bit of this otherworldly physical means don't mean anything anymore with the Rosemary's friend. I can't remember her name at the time, the second victim, where her tongue came out of her mouth and it was all crazy and stuff for a second. I'm like, I really wish they would have did a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
To show the contortions of the human form don't mean anything anymore. But it's definitely something that they were playing with. I mean, they were playing with some really great concepts and stuff in this film.
I think it was just probably budget reasons. Like, we got all these great ideas. Okay, we can do like 3 of them. All right.
Yeah. And we can't do them all the way. So you can do 2 1/4. There is an interesting score. The score does have its own merits. It's not the best, probably the Argento kind of score, but it shows you that you're listening to demons. I've never heard it used on any other tracks, any other ripoff films.
Yeah.
They do mix it up and they play with another classic tune. Was that Hall of the Mountain King they played with?
Yeah, Hall of the Mountain King was in that.
They turned Hall of the Mountain King into the Demons theme at one point in time. I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's Hall of the Mountain King, but I'm not sure. I am not a musical aficionado.
Yeah, that is Hall of the Mountain King. You're right.
Okay, good.
Yep.
But that was definitely something that when I re-listened, I was like, hey, they did that. Nice little twist down the Demons theme. That was fun. But yep, there you go. That is Demons.
Yeah. Demons 2, 1986, directed by Bava again, and the exact same writing team as well. So it's pretty much all the same production going on here. Some notable people: Asia Argento, her first role as a 10-year-old girl.
Before the vagina came out.
Yeah, before her dad started shoving his camera lens up her.
Can I actually do a close-up just on your asshole this time? Thank you.
I'm not saying there's creepy, touchy-feely dad and daughter stuff going on in that family, but some of the movies of his that she starred in have had some pretty uncomfortable shots. So just saying. Of course, we have Bobby Rhodes back again, but in a much more prominent role this time as Hank, who's like a fitness instructor in this one. And
you got a more respectable job this time. I went to college.
One of the guys who played one of the punks in the first film comes back as a security guard. And this one's set in a big, like, 10-story apartment building, like this moderate apartment building.
Yeah, it reminds me of, like, Death Spa, except with demons.
Yeah, like a higher budget Death Spa kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, this one also has the film within a film thing. Now, they say the movie that everyone's watching, like, this sort of centers around the different people in the building. There's like a birthday party going on for this spoiled girl who, it's my party, I'll cry if I want to kind of bullshit. But they're all watching this, what's supposed to be a documentary. They're saying that the stuff in Demons 1 happened, and then they did a documentary on this like quarantine zone that's been walled off now in Germany or whatever, where people don't go anymore. But the way it plays like a fucking movie that they're watching. Right. It doesn't play like a documentary at all. So I'm kind of wondering if it's just lost in translation, or if
I don't know if it's. I think they didn't know. Like they didn't know, they didn't care. It was one of those deals,
Yeah.
just kind of like Demons 1. I mean, the plot is so loose that I just like Demons 1. I really never got too much going on with the plot. It was like, guess what's happening? For instance, only one girl was watching TV at that time, apparently, in the whole fucking world. Again, it was just if she had to take a shit, this would have never happened.
There's no real set-off point for the demon to the infection to spread into the real world because the demon just crawls to the fucking screen. Like it doesn't. Yeah.
Well, remember the light flashed a couple times while she was watching the film.
Oh well, there you go. That's
it was made one of like kind of like the Japanese seizure films, except you become a demon instead.
Yeah. But yeah, so the demon infection here has even less of a cause than the first one. Like they're just like, we need to put demons in this movie. Let's think of a really lazy way to do it. But at the same time, really great effect though. Like the effect for the demon coming out of the TV.
Oh, with the push of and it reminds me of the Video Dead that happens later.
Yes, Video Dead or Videodrome even.
Videodrome, Long Live the New Flesh.
Yeah,
absolutely. If they would have shot her from the other side, we would have all realized that it was Toad on the screen, and that's what causes demons, and we would have known that. But unfortunately, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, but that is like a great effect. Like if one thing, the effects are noticeably even a little bit better in this one, at least for the most part. And that first effect was done with guy wearing his demon mask through a clear latex screen. And they just projected like static on it, I guess, from the other side of the room. Looks great. Like it looks authentically like he's coming through an actual TV screen with static on it. Like it
absolutely does. It's great. Yeah, this film is definitely something. It's the same premise. And they're locked in a building. They're fighting the demons. I mean, you can't get more bare bones than that.
Yeah.
I mean, and they did it twice. But at least this time you get some hot gym bodies running around.
Yeah. Even the pregnant girl's pretty nice to look at.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to fuck a pregnant girl? Not this. I'm not saying anything. Whoa.
I was just gonna say, I know there is a pregnant porn or whatever. Like pregnant chick porn or whatever. I'm not into that, but I was looking at her. I was like, she's looking pretty good. She's only got a bit of a belly.
I'm pretty much. I realized I'm totally into everything. Pretty much. I don't think there's too much I'm not into. And even though it's, I don't know how you say, you're less understandable or less believable than Demons 1, it has something that Demons 1 doesn't. It has a little bit more breadth. It has a little bit more room to grow. There's more stairs. There's more floors. The parking garage seems awesome.
Yeah. Where they all
you have a little bit more to play with this film.
Our sort of tragic hero again, Bobby Rhodes, is Hank this time. He's the gym instructor. And again, he takes charge. Everybody, let's get down to the basement. Everybody, pick up shit and start hitting these fucking demons. And
we gotta block these doors, move these cars.
He actually gets to kick a lot more ass in this one. Like he
was the war-torn hero in this one again.
It's very literally torn when he gets his junk ripped off.
Yeah, well, he didn't need that anyway. Yeah, he gave up that life for the pimp. So, he's on to bigger and better things now. He can finally go back to school and get his master's now. So we're good. Yeah, it's a fun film. The initial scene at the birthday party, the oblivious crowd has no idea what's going on, even though she's hunkered over like going, and they're like, oh, happy birthday, very good.
Yeah,
and she's grabbing the guy's arm, and he's like,
Yeah, he takes a little while to react to having like nails dug right into his forearm.
And when he actually does react, it's hilarious. It's just like either Austin Powers or Ace Ventura, where like he's realizing he got stabbed in the leg, and he's like, like it's the funniest, corniest thing because like he's like in her face going but with the weirdest, like non-believable like scream I've ever heard. It's hilarious. I mean, it's more funny than anything. They did try to play off Demons 1, of course, as much as they could possibly do. If a human-sized guy dies, a human-sized demon comes out of him. And if a child-sized guy comes out, one of the ghoulies comes out, apparently.
Yeah, really.
Oh, my God. When the ghoulie came out, I was like, is this happening right now? Is this happening? It is pretty insane.
I actually like this one better than the first one. This one kind of moves a bit quicker. Like it does. It's wall-to-wall action. Like they don't even pretend that there's any characters in this one. Like they just kind of go right to it. They do give you like the little bit of dramatic thing where will the pregnant woman and her man make it through the night? Like that's basically it. But other than that, it's just like here's a ton of characters. Let's get them all demonized. Let's just murder the fuck out of every one of them. There's that elevator scene where the hooker and the guy get trapped in the elevator, and then she turns into a demon, and they're crawling up the elevator cables or whatever, which I don't think you can actually do in real life with your hands. I'm pretty sure you just chop your hands right to pieces.
You probably, because it hurts is what it does. Yeah, exactly. That's why they didn't do it in Dawn of the Dead, because you can't.
Yeah.
Because he would have just climbed up the fucking cables. But no, you can't because it hurts. Yeah, that's basically it. But, I mean, Demons 2 is, I don't know. You just actually literally cut your head open and then take your brain out and then leave it at the door. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you have much more fun doing it.
Yeah, and you get to watch like a dog get infected and turn into a demon.
Exactly.
Cool.
And like the teeth pushed out of that one too. They were already sharp, but fuck, we're gonna get these other bitches pushed in there. What?
Oh hell, his whole jaw pops out of his head basically. Like he turns into a fucking great white shark almost.
Well, and that's the thing is they took it to that next level. But at the same time, you kind of expect that from a good sequel. Yeah,
well, Demons 1 was pretty batshit to start with. So it's like, well, we got to double the batshit in this one. So
right,
I just filled the entire fucking place full of guano this time out, right?
It does have that moment, like same way I always compare it to Evil Dead, and maybe I shouldn't, but I do. It has that somber moment at the end where everything's calmed down, like the original demon woman that comes out. She's like, oh, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like that soft. Moaning, kind of like just in like Evil Dead. And then right when you think everything's fine, then everything gets batshit again. Just right at the end before the final thing happens, and then someone decides to go into the sunset, just kind of like Demons 1. Yeah, in the same way.
Happy ending in this one at least, but I almost kind of feel like I want to see the film within a film. That looks like that's the real sequel to the first Demons when you think about it.
No, yeah. The film that's in Demons 1 still to me to this day seems more what I want to watch than either films. Mm-hmm. Right. Like, okay, like let's watch the original. Like, I really wish they would have made the original film in Demons 1 and made it seriously.
I'm kind of surprised no one actually ever did that. Like, You think someone would have.
The premise is right there. You wouldn't have to do much to market the fucker. But what did they do? And I guess this is about the same time we should do this. What did they do instead? They made 8 sequels.
Yeah. As the norm with the Italian film industry, and this was kind of one of the reasons that it finally dried up in the 80s and died, is they marketed every film they could with a popular name. So after this one, we got Demons 3 three times over. We got Demons 3 the Ogre. We got The Church, which is the legitimate sequel to Demons 2.
Well, it was supposed to be, but apparently that Savio wanted to disassociate, so he put it out as its own.
Yeah.
But Demons 4 was this woman or the child or something like that?
They got, let's see, they have, I'll just go through the list of them here. So you have Demons 3 the Ogre, also known as House of the Ogre.
The Mansion of the Ogre or something like that. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
So then they got The Church from 89. They have Black Demons from 1991, which was also called Demons 3. They have The Devil's Daughter from 1991, which is known as Demons 4 the Sect as well. They have The Mask of the Demon, 1989, also called Demons 5 The Devil's Veil. So this one was
Veiled, yep.
Yeah. They have The Black Cat from 1989, known as Demon 6, also called From the Deep, apparently. And then, of course, someone had the idea of making Cemetery Man a Demons sequel, calling it Demons
27.
Demons 95, it was called.
95.
Because it came in 94. Yeah. 95, yeah. So they milked this fucking thing for a while. Yep. I don't know how much money they...
It's The Hobbit, Revenge of Smaug, Demons 17. Like, it's Gone with the Wind, Demons 27. I like it. That's good. The Revenant, Demons 85. And then that's how Italians work, because they work on no logic whatsoever and try to make $1 on anything.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way, just in a weird way.
Yeah, it's just a weird marketing thing, but it worked in some cases. I mean, they did the same with the Django films. There's only two real legit Django films, Django and like Return of
Django Strikes Back.
Yeah, Strikes Back. And then there's like a million films that got retitled Django this, Django that. Even when they'll have it on the main title, but then you get into the film and the character's called like Bart or something like that.
Right. Well, even Burial Ground was for like the Dawn of the Dead, the zombie trilogy. I believe Burial Ground was even labeled a zombie trilogy, and Burial Ground has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Like, actually, that's a better comparison, really, when we're talking horror here, because
that's true because it's more closely related.
The zombie films, like one of them's like Zombie, was it 4 Dead Birds or something like that?
Yep. The Ravening Birds, Birds of Prey, and stuff like that.
It's
and then
fucking
a Virgin Among the Living Dead.
Yeah, a lot of them are fucking horrible. But and of course, Bava had something to do with a couple of these films as well. Like he came back for a couple of these films. But
well, isn't Bava who did the Virgin Among the Living Dead? I thought that was a well-known person who actually did that one.
I can't think of it.
It's a horrid film, but that's it's one of the things. Like Burial Ground, at least, was something that was a good film. That if you put the zombie name on it, you'd be like, hey, this isn't actually bad.
Yeah, and I think Burial Ground is something we're gonna cover here sometime soon.
Who doesn't like a fucking 5 foot tall 28-year-old guy looking like a fucking 13-year-old but sounding like a 38-year-old biting tits?
Yeah, I mean, like his mother's tit at that.
Come here, give it to me, take it.
I love you, mommy.
I love you, mommy. And he's like, I want to fuck you, and she's like, no. And then he dies, and okay, now I'll fuck you.
Yeah.
Apparently, when he's a stiffy, he's got a stiffy, and when he's a stiff, and that's okay then. Well, you're dead, so it's no longer cheating.
Yeah.
Hey, if I had a nickel every time I told a girl that, when you're dead, it's no longer cheating. I mean, what the hell? Come on, crazy. But no, it's a fun film. I mean, both films are fun films. Both films are something you should watch. I've watched The Ogre. I've watched The Devil's Daughter. I've watched The Devil's Veil. They all have their like little points where they're okay, but most of all, they just suck. I mean, and the thing is, the one thing that you always have to know is they are completely and totally unrelated to Demons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no even close relation, nothing similar at all. They just happen to have the name. I'm actually surprised that Demons 2 is so closely related to Demons 1.
Yeah, really.
If I'm not going to lie, I mean, I'm actually surprised that a sequel was so closely related to the original in the Italian horror. Because late 80s Italian horror just went down the crapper.
Yeah, I think the biggest reason why it's so similar is that it was basically made within the span of the same year as the first one. So it's like we got the same crew. We're going to remake basically the first movie again.
Yeah,
so,
the oven wasn't even cooled down when they started baking the next loaf of bread. So I mean that probably had a lot to do with it. But I love it when they use the same characters over again.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are a fan of certain things like Hammer horror, you've seen the same 6 guys get killed for 30 years, and you love it every time you see it. You don't give a shit. It's a good time. And that is the same thing with Demons.
The soundtrack in this one's markedly different than the first film. This one, they use all kinds of sort of new wave, popish, goth kind of bands from the 80s. Like they got the Smiths, the Cult, the Dead Can Dance, and like Love and Rockets. So it's a bit different, although the punk rockers in this one are still listening to that shit, although they shouldn't be. Like in the first film where they're listening to fucking Billy Idol and like, no, you should be listening to like fucking X or something along those lines, or the Germs, or but who knows? Maybe punk rockers in Berlin were into different stuff. I don't know.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what the hell was out then for punk that they could be like DRI or Discharge or something like that? Or
you probably had I think Husker Du at that point, but you had like people were still listening to stuff like the Germs and
the Stooges,
X. But it was more that LA punk scene at that point, right?
Okay.
Circle Jerks, things like that. You know.
All right, okay. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
You fucked up, guys. You Italian fuckers, you fucked up.
The Italians didn't do their homework.
Didn't have time.
The scene where the main girl, Hannah, has her baby, apparently in the original script, it was supposed to be a demon baby that was going to claw its way out of her, but they took it out because they wanted a happier ending, apparently. Another thing I'll mention, one cool kind of motif in this one is like the blood from the demon going down through the entire building, like seeping in through the pipes and through the floors and stuff like that, and basically infecting everything. And it kind of melts to the floors like the blood in the Aliens films.
Aliens,
yeah. Very, very cool. I like that.
And there was more of an outbreak in this film. There was actually people like everywhere kind of getting there was more fun, more fun with demons. That's what we're having. We're having more fun with demons. That's it.
Well, I like the guy that was stuck in that sauna box there when the blood just pours down on his face.
Ah!
And then he burns that girl to death in the tanning booth. I don't think it quite works that way.
But we all wish it could.
Yeah.
We all wish it could. And I'll every time I hear of like tanning booths and showers and stuff, I either think of Death Spa. Sometimes I think of Prom Night 2, Say Hello, Mary Lou. Or when the girl gets crushed in the locker.
Right.
Or I think of the movie Mirror, Mirror. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, where the girl in it basically looks like Winona Ryder from Beetlejuice. But the shower comes alive and basically boils her to death in the shower, and you get to see her naked, all with boils and stuff all over and stuff. Pretty hot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's a hot boiled ass. I'm telling you what. But I mean, I always think of certain films like that play off the idea of dying in a tanning salon or a spa or a fucking shower. It's always fun.
Well, for those perverts out there, and we're both included in that group. So, if you're looking for probably the best tanning booth deaths on film, I think it's Final Destination 3. I'm pretty sure it is. The two sort of valley chicks in the movie. They go to a tanning salon, and of course, those movies are about the basically the spirit of death, like trying to catch up with people who escaped it. So it goes through all these Rube Goldbergian kind of setups where it eventually leads to the person being killed. But they're both in tanning booths, and then of course they basically get fried in the tanning booths.
Yep. That's why those films, I never really saw them. I saw one scene from them, and from this day on, every time I drive, I always go around a log truck.
Yeah, no kidding.
I never drive behind a log truck. I'm going to go around now, and that's my new rule. If I see a truck carrying random, like I was driving recently, I was driving in the Pacific Northwest, and I was driving behind a fucking truck, and it had nothing but rebar in the back, and it was like bouncy, and I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen, and I can picture it now. I'm going around this son of a bitch. I don't care how fast I have to go.
Yeah, there's definitely some fate conspiring against me here. I got these metal fucking plates on the side of my face. There's rebar right in front of me. Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on. Yeah, if anything, the Final Destination movies have taught us, stay away from trucks with lumber on them, stay away from roller coasters, stay away from airplanes, don't make a cheese sandwich, basically don't do anything.
Don't do anything. Don't tell anyone to go fuck themselves and then walk into the road and get hit by a bus. I mean, look both ways before you cross the street. These are life lessons, people. Horror movies will save your life.
Yep.
Or give you massive boners if you're weird. Yeah. Both work well. Both work well.
Oh, well, I'll mention the budget for this was actually a tad lower. It was 1.5 million lira instead, and it brought back 13 million. That was just in Spain, though. Who knows what the international fucking totals and shit were?
Well, it's probably. I have to assume both of these films had to be pretty much raging successes.
Yeah,
comparatively,
they're definitely successes by anyone's standards, but. You can get both of these films on DVD and Blu-ray. There's a bunch of old Anchor Bay editions of this out there. You can get Blu-ray from Arrow Video in the UK. And you can also get a Blu-ray DVD combo for both of these from Synapse Films. So if you look around for them, you can find them. Or you can just steal them online, whatever you want to do.
They are all on YouTube if you want to check them out. And every fake sequel is also titled as such in multiple languages, so enjoy, and by enjoy I mean drink through it because it sucks.
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny though if some fucking asshole decided to make a box set with all the demon films?
That would be an epic. 27 different discs with 3 different special ops and everything like that. Yeah,
I could see like some direct fly-by-night fucking DVD companies that just takes old VHS rips and puts them on a 50-pack bundle for the first time ever. All of the exciting chapters of the Demons films.
Are you trying to talk bad about Mill Creek? Because Mill Creek would totally do that.
They would totally do that.
They would totally do that. I just got the Ultimate Edition of Dawn of the Dead.
Nice.
And it has like 7 or 8 versions of Dawn of the Dead in it. And it's basically, that's all you're getting. You're getting, except for a couple interviews now and again, every fucking disc is a different cut of Dawn of the Dead. That's all you're getting. You're just getting the same film 27 times. I'm like, I'm buying it. I don't give a shit. I'm totally buying it.
Yeah, I had that for I've had that for quite a while now. The Ultimate Edition. It's got
because I'm going to Evans City this year to get it signed by whoever I can find.
Nice. Is Romero going up to that, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah. They're letting him back in the country now. He's a filthy Canadian. Exactly.
They decided that these. Well, I should call him like, hey, there's a place called Bellwoods. You want to stop in there for me on the way down? You tall, gangly son of a bitch.
Come on, George, be my booze mule.
Yeah, I gotta have somebody to do it.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, because he's in Ontario, or he's on Toronto.
Yeah.
No wonder his films suck now.
Yeah, well, no, it's true. It's actually true. That's part of the reason why his films aren't as good anymore, because he's not filming in PA anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always appreciated it. Like, and I've heard him say it a few different times in his interviews. He goes, "Pittsburgh's a hell of a place to make a movie. It's just a hell of a place to make a movie, and the people around there are just so willing to jump in and have fun. They don't give a shit." And sadly enough, I mean, the films that they made back then, you can't really make today. The way they made them, you just can't do it. I mean, he lived in it was just a golden age, and he just took full advantage and made some masterpieces. And it was really interesting because we have a link now with the Demons trilogy or quadrilogy or whatever you want to call it with Argento. And Argento jumped on that train too and helped this Romero train just go worldwide. So it was very interesting.
So I think we're in agreement here that both films are worth watching, but I think Demons 2 is actually your better bet, honestly.
Yeah, it's more fun. Overall.
Yeah. Want to tell people where they can find you there, Paul?
Yeah, you can get me on Facebook at Oil Paintings by P. Ramali, paulramali.com for more oil painting goodness, PA Brew News on Facebook, Funeral Dust on Facebook, Permanent Midnight on Facebook. You can go to PA Brew News at YouTube for all my beer reviews and things like that, and Funeral Dust 666 for random metal chaos.
Awesome. And, of course, you can go to TMBDOS.podbean.com to find all of our stuff. You can find our YouTube links. You can find our iTunes links. You can find our link to our Facebook page, which, again, is the best place to get in contact with us and request movies like Kit Power did for Demons 1 and 2 here that we just covered. So, and don't be shy. The worst we can do is say no. We're not going to cover that movie. Well, actually, the worst we could do a lot worse than that, but we probably won't because we want to keep our listeners. So, yeah.
I don't.
Paul has no investment in keeping our listeners.
I have no loyalties here.
I have slightly more, but there you go. But yeah, thanks guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed this, and hope you're enjoying all the bonus content that is popping up through this very month of October. Although we're recording some of this stuff early ahead of time, but
we don't have. It's not pumpkin latte season, girls. Put your panties back on.
Yeah.
It's still fucking 90 degrees.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. We're still in the fucking dog days of summer somehow. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. So guys, thanks very much for listening. Thank you for joining me, Paul. It's good to have you back.
Yay.
And we'll see you guys again when we see you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to They Must Be Destroyed on Sight. For past episodes, links to the host's other stuff, and links to various podcasts and websites of similar interest, please visit us at tmbdos.podbean.com. There you can also find our iTunes, YouTube, and Facebook links. Please join our Facebook group, as this is the best way to get in contact with us and to keep up to date with what's coming up on the podcast. We also can be found as part of the Oi Spaceman family of podcasts at oispaceman.com, where you can find various sci-fi themed podcasts about Doctor Who, Red Dwarf, Firefly, and classic sci-fi novels. If you decide to subscribe to us through iTunes, please take a moment to leave us a star rating and a review. Thank you. Drive through.